All right, 1 minute warning. Woohoo! Howard's here! Yay! I know. Everybody has made it very clear they don't want to be anywhere near me. I know. I know. I feel like I need to take a nap. After running around so much this morning, running around ShopRite, running around here. I didn't even log in. So I may be tired by tomorrow. Anyway, no, he said, you know how we have a call session at the manager's every morning? I did not log in this morning because I do like to have 10 minutes. Tuesday, Monday, thank you, Lori. Exactly, so hard. So that's why I didn't even log in. Sometimes I log in like 15 minutes, 20 minutes, they know you'll be here today. Waiting for you. How many people signed up? I did. That's okay. Sit over there. Sit over there. Okay. No. Hey. Okay, Lonnie's here. We'll start. Lanny and Howard are here. Let's see what's on 10:04. Yeah, we should get started. Woohoo! That is the sound of the start of the meeting. All right, guys, we're gonna get started. Terry's hair looks nice. It's not in curlers. Terry just combed out her curlers, so we're good. We can start now. Last week, Terry was in curlers on Zoom, and she didn't realize it. She didn't know people can see her. She was dressed. Yeah. So now we call her curler lady. Jerry, take a seat. We're gonna get started. Kelly, you look like you should be drinking champagne today. You look so nice. She might dress for the occasion. Nice. I'm not all on a little book. I'm not a pen. last free book. All right, guys, I don't have a bell or a whistle. But it's 10:07, so let's get started. You're all good. You're all good. You're good. All right, guys, we're gonna get started. I can't whistle. Can someone whistle? Can somebody whistle? Yeah, whistle. Get everybody's attention. I don't know how to whistle. I don't know how to. Yes, we still have $1 and a dream if anybody wants. I don't know how to make a lot of noise. Okay, guys, so welcome to our first in-person meeting. It's a lot. I'm very happy to see so many faces in real time. So beautiful to see you guys here. I really am excited. This is how we ended our meetings 2 years ago, actually, because we started holding them here because we had so much attendance. And then COVID hit, and then the rest is history, right? We've been on Zoom for the last 2 years, trying to make it work both ways. But this is a challenging market, and I think getting in the office helps you get more engaged in your business. So, yep, we're gonna have these little hiccups here. Let's see. I do have Zoom on because I'm recording it, so I can send a recording out, and I can send out the slides as well. So it's not who you think you are that holds you back. It's who you think you're not. So I wanted to show you a really 1-minute video from Simon Sinek. I think it explains exactly what I was what that means, that saying of the week. So please give me a second. Here we go. And of course, he's muted. Okay.
And the negative. It is incapable. Yes, it's true. I'll give you an example. Are you ready? Don't think of an elephant. You can't tell the human brain not to do something. Skiers know this. If you ever seen skiers go through trees, do you know how they do that? If you go through trees on skis and you go, don't hit a tree, don't hit a tree, don't hit a tree, guess what you're watching? You're only looking at trees. You don't understand how anyone can ski with all these trees, as opposed to follow the snow, follow the path, follow the path. The only thing you see is the path. It's the same thing for you. If you focus on the obstacles, all you will see is obstacles. If you focus on the path, all you will see is path through the trees. It's your choice how you choose to perceive your own career. It's literally perspective. The human.
Isn't that great? Honestly, luckily it was everybody could read it as well if you could not hear it well. But basically, if you are, what he was saying is if you're skiing and you're skiing through trees and you're only focused on the trees, you're going to hit a tree, right? If you're focused on the path ahead, you're going to get to your destination. And that's what everybody needs to focus on more than ever this year, is the path that we're on. And yes, we're going to have to pivot a little bit in what we do every day, but you know, what Real Estate Basics 101 is still the best way to reach out to clients, right? So you have to focus on getting sellers. Listings are key this year in having a successful year. So how are you going to do that? That's what you have to look at every day. Not why you're not getting them or what's not happening, how you're going to get there. Focus on the activities that are going to lead you to getting more listings this year more than ever. Right? You want to be in that situation where you're getting the listings. You're the one collecting all the offers. You and your client are making the decision. You're not the one sitting at home waiting to hear whether you got it or not. So I helped a few agents out this week. There was a lot of multiple offer situations with listings in our office. And so I assisted with 2 buyers. And so I spoke to one of them had already put an offer in, about a month and a half ago. So sort of had an idea, and is a mortgage advisor too. So I was shocked when he didn't really want to waive appraisal, right? Because I'm thinking that's something he should be, helping his clients with. But, and I worked with him to get his number up. Then there was another gentleman from New York who is just starting his home search here. And so he wanted to go in at asking price, and he didn't want to waive anything, and he didn't want to get into a bidding war. Okay, so yes, I said to him, okay, let me explain to you what the real estate market is like today. Do you know what a silent auction is? That's when someone bids on something, right? And they don't know what any of the other bids are. And they're placing a bid on that item based on what it means to them, how much they want it, right? That's what a silent auction is, right? You saying, oh, I really want to get this for so-and-so. This would be a great gift. I'm going to bid a lot. And you know, it goes to a donation or whatever. I said, that's what you have to do in today's market. I said, unfortunately, this kills me to say this to you, but as a real estate advisor and consultant, I can't advise you on what to put an offering on. I don't know how desperate the other buyers are, how motivated those other buyers are, and what number they're willing to come up to. How many times they've lost out on bids. I said, so I can't advise you. By me giving you the comps like we used to do is not going to help you get this house because the comps don't matter. So in order for you to get this home, you have to sit down with your partner and you have to decide what's the number you're willing to put in. And if you don't get it at that number, you walk away and say, that house wasn't for me, I'm willing to move on. I said, that's all I can tell you. I said, I can share with you what homes have went over in this area, in this neighborhood. I don't know if this one will go that high or not. Again, that's something I can't advise you. And I said, something else that kills me to have to say to anybody, and I can't believe I'm actually saying this to you, but you have to waive appraisal. You have to put your money where your mouth is. Because if you don't do that, then you don't even stand a chance to be looked at the sellers these days. So that's what everybody's doing. I said, and what that means is you have to talk to your mortgage advisor. You have to get an idea. You can't just say, yes, I'll do it because you want to get the home. You have to get the information. You have to make sure you have all the facts in place and that you can do it and what you can do it for before you do that. I said, so because, you know, it's highest and best by 5 minutes from now. No, really tomorrow at 12, talk to your partner overnight, sleep on it, have a conversation, and then get back to me tomorrow and we'll get it in before 12. But these are the things you have to do. And so, you know, you really have to, and then of course they had 100 questions because this is all so new. But they ended up coming in really strong and they didn't get it, you know, it's just what happens in this market. So, you know, we really have to be, you know, have a great way to explain to these buyers what they're up against in this market. If they're looking to buy, this is what you have to do. Right, that's it. There's no, and you have to waive home inspection, you know, limited to structural, environmental, and mechanical. And what does that mean to them? You know, so you explain it all, and then, you know, they feel a little bit more comfortable, and then, you know, they're willing to come up if they understand the situation most of the time. So it's extremely challenging. It's extremely exhausting because you must be on the phone with your clients all night long explaining. I mean, I was on the phone till like 8:30 the other night. My voice was hoarse by the time I got off. I was explaining to all these people, and this is what you guys do on a daily basis. So, you know, just remember, it's just, you know, it's a tricky market and it's very challenging, but as agents, you are adaptable. So you will be able to adapt and pivot and get to where you need to be. I have 100% faith that every single one of you know what you need to do to be successful in this real estate market. So let me go. Oh, I'm gonna start all over again. Okay, birthdays and anniversaries. I've used my new, you know, now I know how to do these fancy things on the computer, so watch out. For March, Tamika Carter is the March 23rd, Carrie Chuck, March 7th, Michael Elms, March 11th, Deb Monticello, happy birthday. She doesn't look happy about it. Rich Raz is today. Oh, no, Rich Raz is not today. I think today is the 3rd, by the way. Everybody has noticed that in all my emails. Rich Raz is tomorrow. Suna is the 30th, Carlos Tam the 16th, and Sam, your birthday's this. Happy birthday, Sam. Anna Albanese, 23 years. Dennis Cassidy, 11 years. Teresa Chan, 2 years. Carlene DiVincenzo, 10 years. Lori Kaplan, 11 years. Victoria Meechan, 11 years. Bev Nichols, 30 years. Wouldn't it have been nice if she was here today, Terry? Dante Pus. Too funny. Dante's been with us 1 year already. That's crazy. Howard, 18 years. And he's only 28, imagine. And George Tam, 3 years. So happy anniversary, everybody. Kuchobra.
You can turn your laptop.
Oh, yes. I'll do this. This should work. Okay, our office awards for February. I know everybody can't wait to see these. So, top individuals for dollar volume this month. Mara Glauberg with $4,345,000. Vin Dalwani with $2.8 million, and Gloria with $2 million. So congratulations. So again, when we say it's a tough market, right? There's people still doing business. There's people still, if you're consistent in what you do every day, it doesn't matter what market you're in, you're gonna still be able to succeed. Brenda Lee and the lead team with $2.5 million for dollar volume this month. And then our top 10, Mara Glauber, Vin Dalwani, Gloria LaForgia, Sonia Kana, Cheryl Towie, Catherine Adcock, Marissa Poston, Jen Fox, Deb Reagan, and Terry Dearness. Congratulations, everybody. Especially ones that are here. Thanks, Mom. And then for listings, Mara, Vin, and Catherine Adcock. They have a parking spot. You don't have to park in the customer parking anymore, Ben. You can park. Anthony. I was wondering why he didn't park in his spot all month. I should have known you were the problem. And then sales, Mara Glauber, Sonia Kana, and Vin Dalwani. So again, congratulations, guys. Great month. And Brenda Lee and the lead team for sales. So we're proud to welcome back Barbara Ferguson. Everybody's happy to see Barbara. It's so nice that she's coming back to our office, and her partner, Betsy Rodriguez, who actually left today for a trip until Sunday, so she'll be in the office next week, and so you'll see them too. They're a team here. So we have two partnership teams, which I love, Lanny and Deb, and now Betsy and Barbara. So welcome back, Barbara. We're so happy to have you here. And then another new agent that's joined us, Alexandra Listos. She'll be in, her license was just activated yesterday. I actually took that picture. That's not her real estate picture. I go online and I take pictures. So she is that cute and young though. Okay, that's not her prom picture. That's an actual picture. Okay. Oh my God. I can't even, guys. That's all I'm gonna say. I can't even. I can't. Welcome back. Exactly. Welcome back, fresh people.
Oh, I mean, come on.
You guys are really fresh. Yeah, exactly. Deb, where's the fly swatter? Deb, where's the fly swatter? We need it today. Yes, Lori.
It says thanks, son. I wanted to respond, right? Yeah. Her part is Photoshop, almost like that. Her part, I was like,
Real estate brings out the best, right? Sometimes it's so funny. So I thought this was really interesting. I thought you guys would all enjoy me showing you what's going on with Weicker Company and the development of what, how they have now a development company, okay? So anyway, Weicker Realtors has 18 ancillary companies, right? Everybody know that we have 18 companies. So we have property management, we have a moving company. There's a few that are directly connected with Weicker Mobility, which is our relocation company. So they have a few of the relocation companies, rental network, Weicker Lead Network, and insurance, title, financial, all of those things, commercial, and we also have a referral group But we also have now started, our 18th one is a development company. So what Jim Weichert is doing now is he's taking a look at all of his properties that he owns, because he owns most of his properties that his offices are in, and seeing whether they should stay where they are, should he relocate them? And so, again, there's a lot of changes. So this is the Weckerly Network building behind us, right? Everybody knows the Weckerly Network building. Everybody used to take a tour back in the day. We used to go through that white building. It's behind Jessimalas and Starbucks back there. So that one we know has all been cleared out and everybody has gone either remote or into the white building, 225, behind us, right? Behind Stop and Shop. So here's a rendering of what is going there in that spot. Okay, so Jim Weichert is putting together an apartment complex. So I thought you'd find this interesting to see exactly what it's going to look at.
Just a small one.
Just a tiny one, just a little one. Yes. Just a little one. Yeah. So I think what we should all be doing now is finding out when it's going to be done, selling our houses now, taking our money, and then we're going to just go right back there. Then we can be Barbara to work every day. If she's 4 minutes, we'll be 1 minute. Yes, Deb.
I can't hear you. What is that gonna be?
That's the building behind
I know what it is. What is it?
apartment complex.
Oh, town.
Rentals, a rental unit. Yeah. I'm not sure. And this is some of the finishings and things that they're already working on. There's going to be a courtyard in the middle, right? So that's what that's what's going to look like. Pretty nice, right? Pretty nice.
They know how much they're gonna pay.
They know nothing, or I don't know nothing. How's that? I know nothing, but I'm assuming too, like, it's going to take time for it. So I don't know that you can gauge a market until everything's really done, right? So they probably have an idea. Huh? I don't know. There's a lot of units there. There's a lot of units there. Yeah. That's right. Yes, right behind it.
Yeah, come to the front.
Yeah. I think it's Morris Plains. I'm not 100%. Yeah, it's not going to be built for a few years. They're just starting the project. So the vision for 2022 is reposition or sell unnecessary Weichert occupied properties to reduce occupancy costs for operating companies, advance current development opportunities through the pipeline and maximize their value and establish stable, long-term rental income for the enterprise, and identify and acquire outdated, underutilized, or vacant properties that can be profitably transformed into vibrant new developments that enhance our local communities. So we spoke about that. The white building behind us now, behind Stop and Shop 225, that's going to be moving here in about 2 or 3 months, okay? They're going to be coming over to this office, and that office is going to be totally renovated. What I'm hearing through the grapevine, so I don't have the real, specific information, is that where the warehouse is now, and Peter's car is being held, the Weichert Jeep, is going to be our sales office, renovated. Okay, so we're going to be there on the bottom floor, totally renovated place. And this building, because when they talk about outdated, underutilized buildings, we could basically say this would be one of them. And this is probably going to end up, I'm assuming, being knocked down because it's prime location on Route 10 and being either as stores, restaurants, maybe more rental properties, something like that. And that's where we'll be housed. Obviously, this is in the future, right? This is going to be maybe 3 to 5 years down the road, but this is what the plan is moving forward. So just to give you guys, to keep you up to date with what's going on on the campus, since you guys are here, and so you guys, should be the first to know what's going on, what's happening, so that you can share that if anybody asks. That's just some information. So I will share the slides with you guys so you have all that information. And then there's myself, Silvana, Laura, and Anthony. Yes. So 2021 home prices rose nearly 20%, tallying the highest growth in 34 years. So prices rose 18.8% year over year in 2021, the biggest uptick in 34-year history. So think about that. I mean, it's just amazing. We all see this. So funnily enough, one of the agents has a listing, And it's priced way over where our minds believe it should be priced, right? Just because of this market. The sellers get an additional almost $100,000, right, on top of it. And they're not happy. Because in their mind, they bought their house in 2006 at the top of the market. They paid $750 and they feel like they put $300,000 in it. So in their mind, they're still $100,000 short, right? So like it's amazing, right? It's amazing that in this market with what's going on, that sellers, and I feel like that's when things start to change, when sellers start getting a little pig-headed, buyers start to get that feeling and things start to shift a little bit. So I'm curious to see how the next few months go, but it's just shocking. So we know how to respond to the current market, right? So the U.S. home inventory drops below 1 million. Does anybody know what the number is right now, approximately, of how many homes are available throughout the United States? Barbara.
250,000 single.
So this last report was, 250,000 single family homes. So imagine that. Remember when we said 1 million a few months ago? Remember a few months ago, we're like, it's 1 million, and we couldn't fathom 1 million. Or it was a few weeks ago. We couldn't fathom 1 million, and now we're at 250,000 homes throughout the United States. When typically the homes are up in the millions, up in the high millions. So just think about that. That's a national number. So when you're talking to your clients too and your buyers, you should know the numbers on the local level, like a specific town, right? I always say Randolph because that's where I used to be actively doing my business. And at this time of the year, Randolph would have about 140 homes on the market. And now they have 19. So that's a good, again, when you tell a buyer that and you share that with them, then they're like, oh, then they understand. You can't just say inventory is really low because that doesn't mean anything to them. You have to share with them numbers or facts so that they can say, oh. And then on a national level, guess where we are right now? 250,000 in the whole United States. So that's how people then are like, wow, now I understand why this market is where it is. Jerry.
I saw on the news the other day that the NAR still considers it a very active market.
It is a very active market because everything that goes on the market gets 30, 40 offers. And, our open houses this week alone were 59 at one property, 59 in one day. We're talking about over 100 and another property in a 2-day period. Vin had over 100 people through his open house Saturday and Sunday. He had 4 people working his open house, thank you God, right? And he had a system in place and he had it all together. 45 people, 58 people, that's all we hear all day is how many people are coming through these open house. 79 at another house.
They used the number of 6.5 million being sold since January.
That's being sold, yes. But if you want to know what's on the market right now and why we're having why these buyers, it's so active for the buyers and the buyers are getting desperate, this is the reason why. Because there really is nothing and nothing is coming on like we thought it was. We thought, the spring market would bring a little bit more. Obviously, it's not going to bring 100 more to a town, but we thought it would maybe bring, enough amount.
Those houses go on.
Exactly. Everything's flying off the market. So just great numbers to share with your clients. So lock boxes. There's very little listings and there's very little lock boxes. That doesn't match. Somehow it's not making sense to me. And then we have a list of everybody who has lock boxes. They swear they brought them back one day and mysteriously dropped them off. So we have to take, if you have lock boxes, please bring them back. Please check your garages, your trunks, everywhere you have. Please get your lock boxes back because we should not have a shortage right now of lock boxes in this. We should have 1 million. That whole closet should be filled with lock boxes right now that Silvana wouldn't be able to get in. So think about that. It's a privilege that we purchase them for you at $100 each and allow you to sign them in and sign them out. But if it's going to be a problem, then that could be something that you guys would then pay for in the future, $100 per lockbox. I know you don't want that. We're going to make deposits. Phyllis says we're going to have a deposit. Yep, you're going to put a deposit down.
So you see the dirty look.
Duck Phyllis, you're getting dark thrown at you. Duck Phyllis. Exactly, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. I agree with her. And then just multiple offer language. So actually, Anthony and I were talking about this the other day because agents have been calling and they're like, can you please call so-and-so? Because they're confusing me with what they're telling me about how to waive an appraisal. I get emails on the weekend that agents share with me like, is this person serious? Like people are waiving an appraisal and they say, okay, can you show me the proof, the funds that your client has for the gap if it doesn't come in? And they're like, oh no, we don't have to do that. Ask your manager. And they're like, and my agent's like, no, you do have to do that. Like you can't just say you're going to waive an appraisal and not be able to back it up with some type of proof of funds or income or have a conversation with the mortgage lender like Anthony who can get creative and maybe change around what they're doing. If they're 20 or 25%, down payment buyer, they can get creative with how they do things, right? So I had another agent who swore that if it was let's say $300,000 house, I don't think they exist anymore, but let's just pretend a $300,000 house, and they're putting an offer for $350,000, and they're waiving the $50,000. They're waiving up to what the sales price or the offer price was, right? They said, well, if it comes in under, obviously we negotiate, but if it comes in at 325, then your client's getting 375. They're adding whatever they want. And so this was so confusing to our agent. She's like, I can't even talk to this person anymore. Can you please talk to them, explain to them? They really thought that that's how it went. And it's a very active agent in the real estate industry who had no idea until I explained it to them, like, oh my God, I really had no idea. I really thought that was the way it was. So that's getting very complicated. So when it comes to waiving appraisal, for your sake, for the seller's sake, if you're the buyer's agent, make it as simple as possible. Make it either you're waiving it all or you're waiving it up to a certain amount, and that's it. And if they ask for proof of funds, then you have to provide proof of funds, right? Because they have to be sure that you can get to the closing table. Yes.
When you waive the appraisal, does that have to be coordinated with the finance guy?
It should be, yes, 100%. Yes, you have to have a conversation. Your client should have a conversation with the finance person and say, can I waive appraisal number one? Right. What are the pros and cons of me waiving appraisal, and understand it fully, because buyers will say anything at the time they emotionally fall in love with the house. They'll do it because they're listening to you and they just say, okay, she said we should waive the appraisal. We'll waive the appraisal without having any knowledge of what that means, to them when it doesn't appraise. And things have not been appraising lately. I have to tell you. Yep. Absolutely.
Okay, it's not waiving the appraisal, guys. It's waiving the appraisal results. You can't waive an appraisal.
Oh, right. They're still coming out. Well, you could if the finance person says, yes.
That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about results. Right. That's what you heard us say when we put it into the
That's probably the best way to say it, Kim. That's probably the best way to say it. That's the most understandable way to say it, is the way you just said it.
I said it a lot. Okay, what you said.
I said that the buyers are willing to cover any appraisal gaps between list price and our offer price. We're not waiving, you can't waive the appraisal.
Right.
Unless the lender waives your appraisal.
Or the bank waives the appraisal, right? That's the only person who can waive the appraisal. You're absolutely right.
I go back to a lot of them, going back and trying to get salary and law, we should accept that. Listen, in fact, every meeting, every law is fine. Anybody willing to waive your appraisal fully or this amount or whatever the deal is, let everybody come back to know exactly here the requirement.
And have them put it in the additional.
Oh, let's just spell it out. All I try to like, good from here, explain exactly what's going on. What's happening is I'm digging for you guys and we're uncovering tons of problems with offers. The lender has no idea this is going on. They can't cover that. It was said that way, out of context, and we're spending a lot of time with that. Technically, you're selling, which is great, but it's causing this.
So to backpedal on that, I got multiple offers on my food listing this weekend. And I had one guy who happens to be an agent, which makes it even worse. And his offer was, let's say, 600. Then he also says, but we're willing to match the highest offer you have. Okay, so what if my highest offer is 800? You're willing to just match, like, it was just so random.
So vague,
just
yes.
Stupid, you know, so I called him, and I said, okay, so what exactly do you think you're willing to match my highest offer? What if I told you my highest offer is 700 right now? He said, oh, I can't go that high. And I was like, "Yeah, that's my highest offer." He's like, well, can you tell me what your highest offer is? I said, absolutely not. I go, like, you're an agent, you should know this.
That was his bet.
He was like, you know, well, if you tell me what your highest offer is, I can certainly like to match it.
I think that anybody.
It's not, it's like, this is not, that's like a guy's option. Well, that's what I said, I said, are you putting in an escalation clause with this? Well, what's that? Okay,
So obviously,
so.
you're a seasoned agent.
Yes, Dave.
Yeah.
Do you want some help here? But at the end of the day, like, you didn't know the house you was offer.
Everybody's best in straws. It's been very emotional, especially.
Yeah, they don't know.
Yeah, but they want to do this going on, and I've seen this like across the board, whether it's agent behind the open house or buyer. I spoke to multiple members yesterday, conversation I'm having. Like, I'm not saying I'm the greatest by any means, but I'm like, I don't know what you've been in or what rock you've been under, or what's happening, how you're even winning deals in this market. You know, it's sad. And so these people are not getting deals because of how they're doing business.
Yeah, yeah, true, true. Yes, and that's a great benefit that we have Anthony here, that he can vet people out and he can call lenders that he knows and he can get information for you, because you don't know, and a lot of you just trust that the other agent knows what they're doing, but we're hearing a lot of stories that they don't. So in the instance that Anthony was talking about, where that agent was like, we're willing to forfeit our deposit if it doesn't come in, that was the same situation that I was bringing up earlier, where the agent was the buyer's agent was presenting an offer saying, we're waiving appraisal. The agent was asking for proof of funds, and she said, no, we don't have to give you that. We're going to forfeit our deposit. So we don't have to. It was just so bizarre. It was just, the whole thing was so. Yes, they were really just making it. It's like a 3-year-old, when you're playing a board game with a 3-year-old and you let them make up the rules to make it benefit them.
Get more info on their clients. They don't even know what they're talking about when they're representing their clients. So, and I don't, obviously these clients probably don't realize that their agents are kind of rooting for them in the process also.
Absolutely.
They don't know what they're talking about.
Absolutely.
I don't want to do a deal with this agent. Obviously,
And
the
that's
seller's
what happens, right?
decision,
Now, all of a
but
sudden, you start, like the next shiniest best offer, but price wise, you start moving off that. It's just
Scary.
You can see how this is going down.
I don't want to, like, why do I, it's you against another agent, the other agent sort of has their shit together. Who am I gonna tell my sellers I think might be the better choice?
Might be less.
It's their decision, but here's what I'm dealing with.
But, and that's a great point, because the agents I've been speaking to lately that have listing agents specifically have said that the ones that they end up choosing are the ones that are constantly in communication with them via phone. Not texting, not just sending an email over. It's the ones that are constantly calling. Do you have any update yet? What's going on? Can you tell me a little bit? They're in communication, they're building a relationship with that agent. And then when it comes down to it, whether they don't get picked first, and then we're seeing a lot of people back out, like sleep on it overnight and then realize that they overbid and get cold feet back out. That agent is the one. I'm calling you only because you were the one I really would love to work with, and that's what how they're getting an opportunity. So make sure, don't feel like you're being a pain to anybody. Make sure you're being communicative with that agent, because most agents want to talk to you. They want to know, they want, just like the seller wants to know who's going in their house, though we can't do that anymore. The agent wants to know who they're going to be taking the next steps with through this transaction to make sure they're getting to the closing table. So that's all great information. So professionalism, yes, sure.
Because a lot of people do it, I would take advantage of it. I mean, some of these are kind of clear. You're drilling down and you've got your 10, and you have your sample top 3, and you're like, I don't know, which one I should go with, 7,000, 5,000, 20%, 25. I mean, it takes you seconds to call, I'm getting the personal phone to call back, but Nancy and I just spreading right out. I've been doing this thing for a while, working on it, but, you know, after going back and forth, the seller thought he was taking an offer. After my calls, all of a sudden, the dialogue started to change from back on the other round, where they were negotiating, because they kind of started to recant on something.
Very
So that's what's like really critical, because if we weren't talking or we weren't really things like we were, you could get a different.
I was ready to use it a couple times.
But it was great, constructive, kind of working on that.
So we're gonna go right here.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. And that's how it should be. That's how it should be. That's why we have a team here just for you. So take advantage of us. That's what we're here for, to make sure that you get to the closing table. We don't want you puking or crying or ready to throw yourself off a bridge. You can drink. Drinking's good. Drinking's okay. Yeah. So next week, Thursday, March 10th, I probably have that date wrong. I'm so bad with dates, aren't I, Terry? I really am. I'm horrible. I never look it up to verify. I just put it in my head. Richard Krause, the photographer, is coming here to do photographs. 1 o'clock. He's usually here for about an hour or two. You can come, anytime during like 1 and 2 period. It's $50, cash or Venmo. And he does 2 photos, I guess a quarter length and a headshot. And so anyone who needs to update their photos, know that he'll be here next week. I'm actually updating my photos next week because.
Is this the gentleman that was here at one time?
No.
This is the standard.
This is the Weichert standard one, yes. John he's been doing it at the NCJR. So when you see the NCJR photo opportunities, that's John. Yeah, John Brewski, yes. So if that's what you prefer, he's very good. He does the digital Botox. He sits there and he's very good. That's where actually my last pictures were John. Yeah, he takes away everything, John. What? For this one next week? No appointment. You have to be here between 1 and 2 though. Because if you're not here, like if by 2 he's done, he'll leave. So yeah, so just come in. And then I just wanted to go over the powerhouse listing strategies. We had a big group who took the class a few weeks ago, and it was the first one that was taken, or the first one that was here. Remember, it was sold out, and then we were doing it in the office. So just want to share with you what kind of results you get when you're making calls. I know everybody hates prospecting, but I think if we're going to talk about real estate 101 and getting back to basics and getting those listing appointments, this is the way to do it. So 6,221 calls are made. There is 1,035 contacts, right? People that they actually spoke to. 456 leads generated. That's almost half of the people that they spoke to. 152 appointments. 77 open houses during that time. 89 step 1 appointments. 53 step 2 appointments. 90 customized listing presentations. 29 listings taken. So again, the more you do it, the better it is. And making phone calls is really a great way, because a lot of people are sitting at home right now saying, "What? I don't understand. What do I need to do? What should we sell? Should we not?" And if you call and you're that person, you're going to get that opportunity. Deb.
I wasn't here for this. I was out of state. Are they going to be doing this again?
Well, they just did another one. They're in the middle of another one right now. I'm not sure if they're going to do a third one. I'll have to find out for you. Yeah, I know they're in the middle of one now, and it's been very successful. So I would assume they would continue to do it, but I'm not sure how many people attended this last time. And then CE classes. So they're starting the CE classes. Your CE is not due until April of 2023, but why not take it now? I only have one more credit left that I need to satisfy, and I'm done for my CEs, So they're doing a class here in Morris Plains, March 24th and March 25th. Thursday and Friday, 9 to 3 p.m. It's the ethical agent. It satisfies all of your CE credits that you need, including fair housing, which is now something that was added the last cycle and has to be done every 2 years. So you go onto www.schoolsofrealestate.com and you can go into that and you can sign up right online. It's $99 and it's a good thing to do. Yeah. Yeah. So, actually, when I send out the meeting slides today, I'll send out the direct link to get you right to where you could just enroll now. Yes. Mhm.
So, write your titles and have. those-
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
I'm glad you brought that
So,
up.
you do all those, you have your 12 credits, that doesn't cover the fair housing, does it? Or does it?
So the ones I've seen so far, the ones I've taken are only electives. Okay? So there's 3 different, or now 4 different credits that you need to satisfy the 12 credits. You need 1 fair housing, you need 2 ethics. Okay? And the fair housing and the ethics also, so those 3 go into core. Okay, so they also overlap in core. So that means then you need 3 additional core credits and 6 elective, which is anything. So as of right now, the ones that I've seen, because I've taken a few of them, when I went to triple play, I did my fair housing, my ethics, and my core. So that was all taken care of, and now I only have electives left. So but I believe that within the 2 years, they do the fair housing and that. I do believe that they cover everything. I do believe that. Yes. What?
We paid for the fair housing, yeah.
When?
Mary, remember she gave money back?
Yeah, but that,
We're still good.
no, you're not. Because if you took it, we did not take it with Mary this year.
No.
Because she said we didn't need them because this class, everybody who took this class, which was most of our office, satisfied the NAR quadrennial credits, right? Remember that how confusing that was? It's like a nightmare. I can't even say it. So it satisfies. So we didn't take it again. So everybody, or if you're not sure, you go on to PSI and you can see exactly what credits you've satisfied so far. That's how you know. You go on to PSI and you can see what you've satisfied and what you haven't.
That was for the last year. So the one that's until 2023. That's why I'm confused.
Well, maybe you took it in a time frame where it was after July of 2021, and if you did take them then it would have satisfied for this following thing. So I don't know what anybody, I don't know what anybody did or when they did it. Best thing to do is go on PSI and make sure that your credits are up to date. But this is something they're doing here, and this is something a lot of agents always have taken advantage of in the past. It is in classroom. I don't believe it's Zoom.
They'll have it again sometime.
They're gonna continue to have it throughout the year. Yes, this is just the first one they're doing to get people in ahead of time and not have to wait till the last minute. So it's something they're gonna do consistently now, where remember before I had to call and request it, now they're gonna do consistently. Because NAR now recognizes Weichert School of Real Estate as a provider of the credits that, to satisfy, so. Correct. Right, so. And then again, Thursday, March 17th, oh, I forgot to get the other slide. Okay, Thursday, March 17th is a Salute to Sales Excellence. It's going to be our Weichert Awards. It's going to be done via Zoom because when they decided that they can do it, they weren't able to get it, access the place. So it's going to be from 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. And then what we're going to do afterwards is we're going to do a potluck St. Patty's Day party, which is that was what I forgot to put in here. So March 17th is a Thursday. We'll do the awards, and then we'll have a St. Patty's Day party that day following. And then one other thing that I know some of you have already, I forgot to put that one in today too, for whatever reason, is the new agent orientation. So we're doing a new agent orientation, wine and cheese, Wednesday, March 22nd from 5:30 to 7. So it's for our new agents because we haven't done this in 2 years since COVID hit, right? We used to do this like every 3 months, every 6 months. We used to get the new agents in, the mentors in, and then any agents that want to come and just get to know each other because, we haven't been able to, sometimes you don't know who's joining. So we're inviting all of those new agents and all of the mentors and everybody in our office to come, wine and cheese, just to get to know the new agents, just to get to see people and reconnect again. So that's March 22nd from 5:30 to 7. Let's see. And then week 3 of my Wiker training, again, it went very well this last Monday. Monday, March 14th at 1 p.m. The topic is create Facebook business page, connecting core listing machine to Facebook and LinkedIn, and generating QR codes and flyers. So that's what Laura will be going over. And again, these trainings are still hybrid. They're still via Zoom and in person. And it's great stuff for you to know. Anthony, I'm so happy I don't have to talk. For 5 seconds.
Bit of a motion.
All right, I'm gonna kind of go through this a bunch of stuff here. Market's been pretty insanely crazy, as you guys know. So market update, measure of economic growth for the fourth quarter was revised upwards slightly to 7%, having a strong year-over-year growth at 5.7%. The separate price indicator continued to show elevated levels of inflation. New and pending home sales fell both, weighed down by supply issues, though new home sales are still higher than when interest rates were volatile, rising earlier in the week, and then eased a bit as the Ukraine invasion unfolded. Expect Ukraine prices to announcement of sanctions dominating international rates for now, which they have. They were down a little bit earlier this week, but the 10-year is moving literally rapidly. 2 seconds before I check my phone, we have alerts a lot. Rates are rising. What's happening this week? The most important release this week is the February jobs report on Friday. January's report was stronger than expected in light of the Ukraine situation. A meeting of the OPEC midweek could also be interesting. Meeting today, Fed Chair Powell, I think, is meeting at 12 today, so we're going to see what's happening on that. Ukraine crisis and interest rates. Everybody always wants to know, like, what happens in the world that we're living in. We don't get a chance to see this, or thankfully, too much. But when there's a lot of like negative world news going on, depending on how severe it is, it could really put the market in turmoil and potentially really change rates around, good or bad. Generally, when there's an international crisis, there is a flight to quality. That means more demand on U.S. Treasuries, bringing long-term rates down. Energy prices are expected to go higher, especially if there are cuts off Russian imports. These could cause inflation to accelerate even further, putting upward pressure on rates. In the long run, sanctions on Russia could slow world growth somewhat and slow our economy, could ease inflationary concerns and bring down interest rates. The Fed meets in 2 weeks, and in this crisis, then gives them one more reason to be more tentative about raising interest rates too quickly. They are still expected to raise rates. This could point to only a quarter increase instead of a half as previously discussed. In other words, there's a lot of factors that play, including how long the war goes on and whether there'll be a diplomatic solution. Thus far, oil prices rose in anticipation of the invasion, and interest rates have not reacted strongly. There's been plenty of volatility in the stock market. So I don't know if anybody noticed yesterday, oil prices were at 105 a gallon, super high. I mean, they were like $40 as a couple months ago. So I'm filling up almost $100 to fill up my truck right now. It's not that fun. So things like that are going on. Like I said, rates dipped down over the last few days, but they're kind of starting to come the other direction right now. So depending on how this goes or where this plays out, not to bring up a really tragic thing that everybody kind of knows about, but like when September 11th, right, worst day probably that many of us can probably remember, interest rates completely tanked shortly thereafter. That stayed on that heavy for a while because no one really knew kind of what was going on, or we could be under attack as a country, going to war, whatever it may be. So similar things potentially could start happening on this, depending on kind of the long term what can happen. So I'll keep you guys kind of posted on this. Interest rates. This isn't my stuff, right? This is off Mortgage Daily News, national publication. If you're a regular buyer right now, buying the 4.18%, that's at par. It's showing that 0.01 is more as a flat rate at that point today. But I mean, it's crazy. I mean, rates are kind of moving in these crazy directions. Some buyers are getting low rates depending on their down payment, depending on the mortgage program. The 15-year still in the low mid threes, FHA still in the threes, but conventional deals, I mean, it's where we are. 2.5 months ago, we were in the twos. So realization is we're a point and a quarter higher than what we once were. For some buyers, it's $200 to $300 more a month in payment. That's like $75,000. Just quick numbers. That's huge. And for people that are still on the fence, not sure what they're doing, they missed out a bunch of deals. They wanted to wait to get through the holidays, and now they're kind of resurfacing now because maybe a new shiny house came on the market, and they're like, holy smokes, I can't afford this house. It's just too expensive. But my prospect is already pre-approved, right? Everybody's coming in pre-approved. They went online, just talked about appraisal issues, appraisal escalations. I talked to 3 lenders yesterday. from all different ways of walking, and all the information I'm getting from them is just like, they're not that engaged with their customers, you know. And speaking of many of you too as well, depending on what's going on, I don't know how much detailed information when someone gets a pre-approval they're having with their buyers. I mean, I can only tell you what I do, and I'm doing this more to protect you as a buyer's agent or a seller's agent. I'm giving them as much attention, and even that much more attention than I was giving them before, which was stall, right? So I'm letting them know whether they're a $200,000 buyer or $1 million buyer, what's an appraisal waiver. This will come up in our conversation, whether it's tomorrow when we're making an offer or 3 months from now we're making an offer. This is going to come up, so kind of understand what's going to happen. You know, we need a sample for it to work out, but let's just go over an example on a property and do that with us. Same thing about home inspection waivers. Hey, listen, this might have not been the norm, but this is kind of the norm on what's going on now. You can do it this way, you can do it that way. I would recommend doing it this way, but again, it's your discretion to do what you want to do. There are some buyers out there that are like, I'm not waiving any inspections at all. And that's okay, it's your prerogative, but understand that you may or may not get this house because of multiple bids and stuff like that. So I mean, my consultations with buyers were, you know, half hour, 45 minutes to an hour, and now I'm like an hour and a half on a Sunday afternoon talking to someone, explaining like the life of a current mortgage and a buy in this market. It's super important that they have an idea as far as what's going on. And whether I even have a second opinion is super, super, super important. Will the mortgage company call the listing agent at night or on the weekend to sell your buyer as rock solid? Many of us CC me on the pre-approval that's being offered. I kind of come right over to the top, call that agent, text that agent. I didn't even know that to stress how qualified the buyers are. Will the loan officer give back buyer advice that they feel together the strongest offer possible given in their financial situation? Huge. A lot of people not doing it. I'm talking to lenders and I'm like, hey, did you know the house that you finally offer had flood insurance? They're like, no, I had no idea. That means that that buyer and that lender are not talking with 5 times. It's huge. Look at that payment to $250 more a month. I mean, maybe he qualifies, but if I'm a buyer and didn't know that, or that was going to impact that much, I mean, it might put a deal in jeopardy. There's a loan officer local. I mean, again, there's a bazillion online lenders out there, unfortunately, right? Person goes online, they send over via text a copy of the pre-approval, and many agents are just running out there and just assuming the borrower's fault. You know, the pre-approval is accurate. You know, get us a second opinion if someone's already pre-approved. If they want to work with that person, if it's a friend, family member, I'll put my rubber stamp on it and say, hey, listen, they're good to go. There's nothing to worry about. They should be fine. I'm okay. Carlos and Tim, Carlos and Patty, excuse me. Registered a couple clients actually.
Yeah, we just.
Any questions? I know we've been talking once this morning, but markets, it's moving, it's fast. Sadly, there's still not a lot of inventory for people, but a lot of questions, sellers and buyers.
Right, that's in, you know, we talk about 4%, 4.1 or 4.2 or even 4.5. You know, we've been in, a lot of us have been in markets where interest rates are 7, 8, 12%. So really, it's still historically low. I know for some people who are pre-approved though, at a lower rate, it makes a difference and it affects them. So we have to be, you know, compassionate to that, but they are still really, really.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
People who are buying the most out of people who have a lot of weight.
Well, they should be, not always, not always. They still think that, you know, if they wait a little longer, things are gonna change, and they're not all that realistic, unfortunately. So is everybody ready for the question?
Are you calling this?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna send him the day before.
What is the minimum down payment requirement on an FHA mortgage?
Hey.
A, 3
Hey.
B.
Okay, final answer.
All right, you see? Oh, I just heard that.
Oh, wait, that is not at all.
A little creepy, but that's okay.
Hey,
Yes.
final answer.
Dennis is here.
Wait.
Hey, final answer.
Dennis, we love you. Dennis, you're hysterical that you stuck on here today. We love it. So what was your answer, Dennis?
I said A, final answer.
A, final answer. What's your answer, Lanny? Oh, Lanny said A too.
B.
You ready?
Answer's B, 3.5%.
B. 3.5%,
First
not
time
3%.
home buyer for conventional mortgages, you get 3%, but FHA requires a mandatory 3.5%, both of which can be all given. A B is 3.5, yeah, so.
But he's saying conventional could be 3%.
3%.
Yeah,
FHA requires a 3.5.
yeah.
Both can be given family or Thank you.
Great, okay. So did you know that many 401k programs allow the purchaser to borrow their own money for the down payment and or closing costs without qualifying for an additional monthly payment? So that's really good to know. That's really good to know. If I can't get, see, because I was looking at Dennis who snuck in, that little devil. So, so anyway, our local market absorption rate, I mean, these numbers, you know, are not surprising. We've been seeing them week after week after week. The list is sold price. I did it yesterday for February and, you know, 104%, 103%, 103, 104%. I feel like it's a lot more, but you know, this is average of what's selling. Who in town, 107% in February. Isn't that crazy? So again, the absorption rates are, you know, all in the ones. Every week we'll get one town that has a little blip. It may get into the twos just because of that week's numbers, but it usually goes down the following week. Yeah, Morristown 11 homes, Montville 10 homes. I mean, just amazing. The numbers are amazing. Elizabeth, the reason I love to bring that one up is because right before the holidays, it was like 106 and now it's 54. You know, those are big cities. Those aren't little suburbs, you know, just crazy when you see these numbers. So remember to share that. So new listings on the market. Catherine Adcock has 264 Morris Avenue in Mountain Lakes for $650. Kim.
16 offers.
16 offers.
Today.
Oh.
That's all. Just 16 offers.
Yeah.
That was a beautiful house.
Yeah, I know, but on Sunday, it actually was not as crazy. A lot of, what do you guys think?
Just a little, just a little. Ben is, highest and best today at 2 people for Vince. That's the one that over 100 people came through the open house this weekend. 100 people. Imagine that. So because you walk in through the garage and into the basement, Vin had someone sitting there to sign people in. That's where they'd wait until an agent was available to come get them, bring them to the house, and then let them out the front door so there wasn't a traffic jam. So, he's so smart.
Did you really expect it to be coming?
Who knew? Yeah, that's a lot. Nance is still available.
No.
Just tell us that, Nan. And you had like, what, 59 people through this weekend?
Yeah, there were 11 offers and they chose one.
Yep. So that's great.
And not
Yeah.
obviously, like, I don't know how you spoke that, honestly.
I know.
Everyone's going offers and you just can't keep up.
Yeah.
I saw something this weekend, I don't know if anybody else saw it,
Mhm.
but a woman was doing I-Invest, this agent was doing I-Invest on Sunday. She said that all the offers came in around the same number, so she called all the people that made offers and told them that she was going to rescind the I-Invest and do it again on Wednesday.
Yeah, no, I've seen everything. I mean, really, you have a conversation with your seller and your seller, you decide how you want to move forward. Highest and best doesn't mean that you can't go back to people and say, listen, I have 3 or 4 very similar offers. We're going to renegotiate with each one, or if anyone comes up to this number, you'll get it, or you know.
She wanted all the offers resubmitted.
Yeah, it's however they want to do it. It's really, there's no set way to do highest and best. Mara had 11 Lookout Road in Randolph. They accepted an offer yesterday, and 36 Daniel Street in Rockaway. I'm not sure if they accepted an offer yet, but I know those 2 had tons of offers on them, especially the one in Rockaway, the 49. That was
Yesterday.
yeah, that was a really popular home. I know, me neither. Dante has a new listing at 28 Ridgedale Avenue, Florham Park. I believe this just came live either yesterday or today, so for $539, which is a great price for that area. Deb, you want to talk about your new listing? Is it still available, first of all?
Pending, but still available to you, by automobile. It does need some work.
But good price point, definitely good price point. Anybody else have anything new, Vin? Well, so, Kelly's in charge of our workers open. She was volunteered for the position. I don't think she actually, chose to have it, but she did. So she shared with me that today there are two, today there's one and tomorrow there's one. Today there's one in 2 Craven Road in Mountain Lakes from 1 to 3. Romelia from the Mountain Lakes office is having it. And then there's one tomorrow in South Orange Village, and 11 to 1, and Natalie Farrell is having it from, I believe, our Maplewood office. So people are starting to do open houses. I mean, I really guess it's up to you and your seller. I feel like the market is just moving so quickly right now. I don't know that there's a need for it, but it's always good for agents to know the inventory. And the only way you know the inventory is if you've had the opportunity to visit a home. And so that's something that we don't have that opportunity anymore because things are going so quickly. So, always good to talk to somebody and say, I saw that house, I know that house, I was in that house, right? And that's something we don't really do anymore because unless we have a client looking at it, there's not enough time to even get there or schedule yourself to get in. I don't even know if you can schedule yourself to get in. So it might be a good idea for that. I'm not sure. And then something that someone brought up yesterday, they were asking, and I don't want this to get into a controversial thing. I'm just going to ask the question. Would you guys prefer to have an 11 o'clock office meeting on Wednesdays? Okay. All right. All right. Oh, I'm early. What did you say?
Earlier the better.
I think earlier the better. You get up and you do. Okay, so just wanted to get an idea. Like I said, I don't want to fight. I don't want to crawl in the parking lot. I don't want to be attacked when I walk out of here. So anybody have any? I would do that. I mean, I'm up at 6 every morning, 5:30, so it doesn't matter to me. Yeah. So does anybody have any more listings? Any listings coming on? Any coming soon? Anything upcoming that you want to announce?
I have a new listing probably next week, 2-bed, 3-bed, 2-bath, 2-car garage ranch.
What's the price point?
519, 525. Yeah, it's my friend's house. It's a great house. It's a small kitchen. Catherine,
Parsippany. So guys, that's the kind of stuff you want to share with your clients. You want to say to your buyer, I know of a property that's coming up before it hits the market, because that's what's going to set you apart than anybody who can see, who can wait till something hits just MLS. So again, something Vin did the other day, which was really awesome, I thought, was he had a listing in West Orange, right? He had a listing in West Orange, and it went for multiple offers, whatever, so on and so forth. We know that story over and over again. But an agent who was listing another home in that development called Vin to ask him some questions to find out, gauge pricing and how many offers and what the activity was, and share with him that he's going to be putting on a home in that community. So what did Vin do? He texted everybody who did open houses for him there and said, just so you know, because you met buyers at these open houses, this property is coming on. And that's really awesome, right? That's awesome to be able to then, you as a buyer's agent could say, I know of something that's coming on beforehand, and if you're not just a tip, right? So that was great. So if you guys get opportunities like that, someone calls you, I actually reignited, or however you say, my WhatsApp. I thought we should all be on WhatsApp. I was going to invite everybody in this office to my WhatsApp app. And when you have stuff coming on, listings only, right? We don't want to hear what you're doing for dinner or who aggravated you yesterday or what happened. We don't want to hear that. That's, the couch is being delivered in my office. You can come lay down there anytime and tell me that. This is for listings only. Any listing opportunities you know of coming up or anything like that, you want to post on there so that everybody knows as an office, you can get people in ahead of time. Because I'm telling you, that's what other brokerages are doing and other offices are doing. They're not sharing if they don't have to, right? I'm not saying that we need to be like holding everything in, but I think we have a great group of agents here that we would all love to work with. And so if we can get opportunities out there to help one another, I think it would be great for our buyers as well, to show them, yes, this is why you choose a professional real estate agent, because we know things that are coming on prior to them hitting the market. We could guide you better, you know, we have all that information. Yes, Lori. That's a good question. I don't know. WhatsApp just has a nice forum where you could just put it together a group.
Because then people will start responding on that, and then you don't want to be getting text.
Yes, it's true. That's why it's more
WhatsApp.
your text.
What's that on the app? Stop notifications. Like, you don't want to be buzzing every 2 seconds.
Yes, yes, that's why. That's number one. That's one reason. And WhatsApp is compatible with both Samsung or Android and Apple, regardless of what you have, so everybody's getting it. Yeah, people get annoyed with text after a while, especially when you're in a group text. I know, I have that with friends and it never stops. So everybody have their dollar dream? Everybody run, Jerry, run, Jerry, run.
I'm trying to put an exclusive place, but I got a text from Coldwell Banker saying they have an exclusive at such and such place, and they'll honor your bid if you send it. I'm like, and it says, we are not on the MLS, this is our exclusive.
Right. So an exclusive, you need a broker with a broker or not broker? You're fine. Yeah, so that's all right. That's all I need. Most of our agents here, when they do a exclusive corporate with an agent, we just don't have a way to get it out to them more than Friday. We just try to get it in. And everybody loves our new exclusive coming soon email every day.
Yes.
They have a coming thing, like that was really, that's amazing. Like, that was something we really needed. So,
They're doing it now.
Yeah.
Should be the $50 piece, so.
yes, that's what we're doing. So if anybody has an exclusive that they don't want it to go out there, then just let Silvana know. Otherwise, you know. Okay, so let's figure this out.
You did a great job.
So after this, guys, we're gonna go into the other meeting room and we're going to do the listing contest. So there's a list off that is a company-wide listing presentation challenge that Eric has never been so excited for anything in his life. He cannot wait to share his listing presentation with me and everybody. So if you're not willing to do the contest, at least come and see what Eric has to share, because boy, he is excited. And everybody should be doing it because it just gets you more comfortable with it. That's what the whole purpose of it is. The grand prize is $5,000 cash. No split, no 199, no 6%, no nothing. Maybe the government's gonna take some, but not quite so. 11:30. Yep, 15 minutes. No, it's just a part of it. It's just the 6-point listing, marketing part. Yeah. Yeah. And the 6-point, yeah. Sure. Go look at my book. Oh, my back is broken.